Hi, this is Bob Grant, and this is where you ask and I answer your questions. And so for this video, I want to talk about a question I got, which is, how do you fight fair in a relationship? Now, generally what that means is that I assume that the person is asking, how do you make it where you don't threaten, where you don't call names? And some of the obvious things are going to be where you don't make threats, you don't try to do insulting things. And what I mean by that is generally when someone makes a threat, what they're trying to do is get a reaction from the person. They're trying to let the person know, hey, I'm really serious about this. And if talking calm like this isn't working, then maybe I should raise my voice, or maybe I'm just going to leave and be done with this. So you can tell, even though I'm just goofing around, you could hear by the tone of my voice that I'm really trying to get your attention. And so when people talk about fighting fair, let me tell you what research shows that great couples really do. See, it's interesting is great couples do fight. They argue, they disagree, but what they have is they have like a ceiling. There's just certain things that they don't do. And as much as the couple decides this, realistically, it's the two individuals that have decided this. So this is not a great example, but in my family growing up, you just didn't hit girls. It was just understood. I mean, hopefully that's that way in all families. Now, I'm not talking about weird exceptions like if someone's trying to stab you with a knife or shoot you or, bizarre stuff. But you just didn't hit girls. So no matter how mad you got as a man, hitting a girl or a woman is just not an option. Unfortunately, for some men it is. But see, that isn't something that a woman is going to be able to instill upon me. That's something I need to carry into a relationship, and I do. By the same token, there's other things that you as an individual decide ahead of time that you're not going to do. Such as one thing with married couples is never threaten a divorce when you're angry. I mean, there may be circumstances to get a divorce, certainly, but don't do that when you're angry because usually that's an escalating technique. And part of fighting fair, the biggest part of it is there's certain things that are out of bounds. You can get upset, you can be really mad at the person, but you don't do certain things. So I can say threatening is one, and what I mean by threatening has to do with disproportion. I don't mean a consequence. So when we're talking about being threatening, it's don't say stuff to get a reaction. And I've heard men do this, but I've heard women do this a lot. And it's this, is that they'll say something, to be hurtful or never call me again, and the guy didn't call me again. And my clients have said, why wouldn't he call me again? And I say, because you told him not to. They say, here's the money line, they say, but I was just mad. And here's the implication. Because I was mad, he should know that I don't mean it. Wrong. Men don't know that because when you're just mad and when you mean it, it looks the same. I can do the same thing with men. Don't be careful. Don't take her for granted. Don't say stuff you're going to regret. In other words, think in terms of fighting that you can never apologize. Here's a good rule of thumb. When you get into a fight, you're not allowed to apologize. You have to live with whatever you said. Well, if I can never take back what I say, I can never apologize, let's make up a number, for a month, and I have to live with the fact that I called you a blankety blank, or I said I was going to, fill in the blanks. I don't want to have to live with that. So it's better for me to use discretion, and in the process of that, make it a point not to actually say anything I'm going to regret. So how do you fight fair? One is you have a ceiling in place that you don't go above it. And if you have a partner that's doing that, then you need to consider, is this someone you want to be with? Because just because you do it doesn't mean he's going to. But fighting fair, you'll find a lot of times, is about that ceiling where you don't talk too fast, you don't talk too loud. You can be upset. I'm not saying it's easy. But remember to treat the other person as though you still need them. I'll close you with this, but there was a movie where Fools Rush In, where it was Selma Hayek and Matthew Perry, I think that's the other guy, and they were, arguing, they were just married and stuff, and she says, she stormed off, she says, you're not my favorite person right now, which is good writing. And it's a playful way. She's not saying she hates him. She's not saying, she just wants to wring his neck or anything. But she's mad at him. She wants him to know. And that makes it safe for him. And the same way, when you're fighting, think in terms of fighting as trying to solve a problem and that you need that other person. And if your habit and your tendency is to actually lash out at them, you're actually making it less likely that they want to hear you. So always think in terms of keeping it safe. You can be mad, but just be sure and keep it safe for them. So that's our video for this response as to how do you fight fair. And as always, if you're watching this on YouTube, please check out the link below us and see what offerings that we have for you. And if you're really ready to take your relationship to the next level and you're ready for things to be different, check out one of our programs and consider joining the Women Men Adore Club.